go.
Get the money and run.
All right, man. So
What's going on, Mitch?
Hey, it's Sweet 16.
Sweet
Sweet
16 finally
16.
back after a little break. Felt
Sweet
like
16.
a couple weeks, but
Yeah.
we're back.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, right? I mean, first of all, what's your story? I want to know, what do you think the story of the tournament is right now?
Well, St. Peter's is the obvious story. The fact that they got through Kentucky alone is a story, but then to
Yeah.
get by Murray State, who I thought was a pretty good, damn good team as well, it's kind of intriguing. I do not think that they continue their run though. They finally met their match. Purdue, I think Purdue's a terrible matchup for St. Peter's.
I think this one's going to get this. I think this could be a 40-point game.
This
I
could
think
get
this
ugly.
Yeah, I think this could be a 40. I mean, listen, there's going to be a guy that's going to stand underneath the basket that's 7'7". He doesn't have to move, and there's nobody on St. Peter's that's. I don't know if their tallest guy is 6'8" or 6'5". I don't know what he is, but at the end of the day, if Zach Edey just stands under the basket, he should get 20 points.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
and the angle is you could sit there and say Kentucky, well, Kentucky size, but the difference is Kentucky got caught by surprise by St. Peter's. Now you had a couple days off. You saw them get through 2 rounds. Purdue's going to be fully prepared to stop what St. Peter's does well, in my opinion, unless the guy that you say is terrible can't coach.
Yeah, Painter. There's their problem. There's their freaking problem. All day.
I mean, this should be a cupcake layup for Painter to prepare for this team.
So I said, what's the story of the tournament? Here's mine. Literally, this year is the worst shooting tournament I've ever seen. I don't think I can't remember a tournament with more horrible, just straight horrible shooting from 3-point range. Typically, 3-point shooting wins the tournament.
Yeah.
Typically, you're like, you have to shoot threes to win. First of all, what is going on in the SEC? I've never in Arkansas is still in it. In Arkansas, I've said all year long, Arkansas was going to be the best team come tournament time. They got 4 seniors at guards, but I knew that they couldn't shoot threes. I had no idea that Kentucky couldn't shoot. I had no idea that Tennessee couldn't shoot. I had no idea who's the other one. Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas was the other one.
Even teams that kind of showed that they could shoot through the season when the tournament came did not shoot well, especially Tennessee.
Why?
I don't know.
What the heck is going when you look, it's not just bad. It is historically
bad. And the SEC does not recruit basketball players for their shooting ability, unfortunately. And it's showing. But that's why I actually think my sleeper left in this tournament is the one team who can shoot, and they play tonight.
Who do you got?
I think Villanova is primed to make a run here with their run, the way that their run lays out.
Wow.
And tonight they play Michigan. And I just don't think Michigan can blow out Villanova. I do think Villanova could blow out Michigan. So then you leave. Okay, let's say it's a close game. Who do you trust more, Michigan to come through with some buckets late, or Villanova? I think Connor Gillespie is a class A by himself, best point guard in the country. And I trust Villanova's shooters down the stretch to get the job done tonight.
Well, no bigger fan of Gillespie than I am. Listen, at this point, that guy is to me, he's not going to win the MVP, but he's the most underrated player in the country, in my opinion, for what he does for that team. Now, don't forget, he also plays for, I think, the best coach in college basketball, Jay Wright.
Good point.
Now, the one thing I will say about Michigan is Dickinson shooting threes has changed that team.
Yeah.
The fact that he can now step out and hit 2 or 3 threes in a game has completely changed the makeup of Michigan. It's not going to be enough to beat Villanova, and it's definitely not going to be enough to beat Jay Wright. But
it's not, because you look at Connecticut that they just ran through. They had a big guy who could dictate the game, and it did not bother them at all. And like you said, I just believe Jay Wright's going to do enough to stop Hunter Dickinson as much as he could, to not let the rest of the team, who 3 freshmen start, by the way. And Michigan kind of went on a little Cinderella run, because I didn't even think they were good enough to make the tournament. But they are on some magical run, but I just don't think that this is a good matchup for them, because Villanova has shot makers.
Listen, Gillespie is the most under. I can't get over enough the stuff that he does and the way he
Cold-blooded.
controls. He
Cold-blooded.
just controls the game. He
Yeah.
is a cross between Mark Jackson and John Stockton out there. He can bat people down, but he has complete control of the pace of the game. It
Yeah.
never gets away from him.
Exactly.
You can't say that about almost anybody else in college basketball. He has complete control of his team, of the game. He is the coach on the floor. There better be a spot for him at the next level because that guy is a winner.
Yep.
And he looks just, to me, just like John Stockton. John Stockton was an amazing shooter that got no credit for his shooting ability because he controlled the game and passed the ball so much. But, man, some of the stuff that Colin Gillespie does for that team.
Game on the line,
amazing.
man. Gillespie, the edge is going to go to Villanova with the game on the line in a close game every time. That's how good he is.
Yeah, he is. He really is. Now, I want to get back to one thing, and that's Arkansas. Ken Note, listen, they're sitting, if I'm looking at the brackets right, they're actually sitting in a pretty good spot, right? They get Gonzaga, but if they beat Gonzaga, which I think, to be honest with you, their style might actually match up well with Gonzaga to give them a chance in this game. I don't.
Well, listen, Gonzaga gave me no reason to believe that any team is going to be in the game. I mean, what I mean is every team so far has been in the game against Gonzaga. So
Yeah.
Arkansas, the way they play and the toughness, and I know Note is that dude. I do believe Arkansas to be in this game tonight. I do. The toughness of the team and everything. I do not believe Gonzaga is going to blow them out. And I'm actually hoping it's a close game with 5 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Listen, so what's your biggest play of the tournament so far? In the first two rounds, I have one in my mind. What was your biggest, oh my God, that may have changed the whole tournament?
Well, you go first because I'm trying to get what do you exactly mean by that? The biggest play as far as betting going into the game, or you think the game that changed dictated the tournament going forward?
I think it's Ben Matherin's three-pointer in his last game.
Okay.
When he listen, they were down by 3. He stepped up and he hit a 30-foot three-pointer, and then they did their damage in overtime. That was cold, ice cold. He literally stepped into his shot from 30 feet and hit it. It looked like Dame Lillard doing his thing is what I remember. That it reminded me of that type of a play. And the fact is, they got tested. They passed their test.
Yes.
And I think they're 5 days more. Hopefully that guy's ankle doesn't look half as, doesn't look like,
it looked like he got caught in a bear trap. He was 1 for 10. Really no one, if you go look at that stat sheet, the only 2 players that showed up was Matherin and Koloko. Only ones. They had 36 and 25, and no one else had more than 6 points in that game. And TCU is a top rebounding team in the country, so it was one of those matchups where their strength was met by a strength of another team. They survived in overtime. I agree. That shot was huge.
So you brought something up. Here you go. There you go. Big 12 is flexing. The Big 12 is flexing big time, right?
Big 12. Even their losses were good in this tournament. Even their losses.
Listen, my brackets before the tournament started was Kansas beating Purdue in the final game. Now, as you know, I had a moneyline bet this past week that I thought was just a walk in the park to get something going, and I had to sweat the stupid thing out with Kansas moneyline first half.
Yeah.
What I will say is, here's what I will say. I still like the final game of Kansas-Purdue, but I have Purdue winning. Now seeing the way that Purdue is playing, Purdue is doing what I thought they would do all year.
Yeah.
They're playing great on neutral court because they're the better team. So they're not on the road. They're on neutral courts, and they're playing like the best team in the nation. I don't know how you stop that team except for tell Painter to keep substituting his players in and out. Yeah. If I'm the opposing coach, I start substituting to see if he'll match my substitutions to get his guys out of a rhythm, because he is a substitute happy guy. He loves substituting his players literally on a rotation. I'm surprised he's not pulling fans from behind the bench and asking them to go in every 3 minutes, man. Watching them. But listen, when you look at Ivy is getting better and better. Mid-season, I said I don't want that guy taking any step.
Ivy's big time. Ivy's top 5 draft pick, no doubt
Yeah,
about it. From what I've seen,
he is so fast to the hoop. I'm like, why is he taking any jump shots? But those 2 threes that he hit in the last game, ice. I mean, we're starting to see guys like Obaji, Gillespie, Ivy,
yeah,
that are
games on the
just
line. Yeah,
closers. We're starting to see
Matherson too. Matherson for Arizona too. When the
Matherin.
Yep.
Closers. We're starting to see closers, and those are the top teams.
Yeah.
That's why when I say there's 4 teams right now, I'm looking at those 4 teams. I'm looking at Villanova, KU, Purdue, and UVA. Those are the teams that I think, because they have closers and they have good players around them.
And they all have, proven coaches. All 4 of them, except who?
Painter.
Arizona.
Painter.
No, Painter's a proven coach, though. He's been around.
No.
But how about
The guy
Arizona's coach?
Came from
First year
Gonzaga.
coach. Yeah.
From Gonzaga.
Came from the bench of Gonzaga, absolutely right. But his first year, he's got this team rolling. And halfway through the year, I can't say that I thought they were a title contender. But boy, are they now. And they're actually my pick. And I'm a Kansas fan every day of the week. I still had Arizona in my bracket beating Gonzaga in the final.
Well, you got your shot, because that can still
Purdue's
happen.
interesting because Stefanovic hasn't even got going yet from 3. And
That's
and Hunter stepped up too lately too. So they got an extra guy coming along too for the party.
So it's hard to say, but when you watch Purdue, he takes out he doesn't just make a substitution. He puts in like 3 guys that create problems for himself and he takes out his 3 top guys. He doesn't just bring one guy in at a time. He brings in first. What's the other guy's name?
Gillis.
Gillis is good. Gillis is a hustler.
He does all the stuff you need someone to do that the stars don't want.
He gets rebounds that you don't think he's going to get. He out-rebounds big men. He'll hit an occasional
locks
3.
down on defense. Locks down.
The guy I'm thinking of is first, who's a freshman,
first.
and then there's Horton, Morton or Horton. I think
Ethan Morton. Yeah, absolutely.
He's a sophomore. I don't like to see them in the game. Morton typically looks lost on the defensive end. You'll usually see him looking when somebody gets a layup. You'll usually see him standing in the middle of the lane looking at the ball go through the basket. It's typically what you're watching when you watch them. Trevion Williams was dominating the game, so what did he do? He took him out.
Yeah.
Trevion Williams had like 10 points for the first 14. He took him out of the game. I don't know what Painter's philosophy is.
Overthinking keeping them fresh. It's the only thing I could think of. Overplaying, keeping them fresh.
He waits till guys get hot, and then he takes them out of the game. But by far, they're the most talented. I think they're the most talented team. And like you said, the guy that carried them last year. So the guy that carried them last year was an Ivy. It wasn't Trevion Williams. It was Stefanovic. Stefanovic was their best shooter, leading scorer last year. He hasn't gotten going.
Nope.
And I'm looking at that. Listen, that bracket, they get St. Peter's today. No offense, but Jersey City, it's been fun, but you're done. All right, it's been fun. You're done.
Yeah.
All right.
It's gonna be interesting though, because it's gonna be down in Philly. So Jersey City people and everyone who backs up Jersey is gonna make the trip. So it should be rowdy. I just don't think it's gonna end well for them.
I think UNC's going to get past UCLA. UCLA's got a problem. Hawkes is probably. I don't think he's going to play. I mean, I think the injury was bad enough.
Huge loss.
I think that's going to hurt them.
UNC's playing their best ball of the season. They're playing championship style ball, and they were going to blow out Baylor until Manic got that technical and changed the game.
Not only that changed the game, but they showed that they can't. So they can't handle press.
They can't handle the press. Yeah, absolutely. Baylor should have been doing that from the jump.
And you know what that made me think of? Where is the press? Where is the press in college basketball this year?
Why do people wait till they're down double digits to do the press? I don't understand.
Do you remember like half the teams used to do it? Like Georgetown did it, Syracuse did it, St. John. I mean, Louisville used to do it, Kentucky used to do it. They all
Arkansas is one of the teams that does it naturally.
Yeah, they do press. They pick people up full court. They pick people up. So UNC I think has a major advantage. And then listen, if Purdue plays Jersey City, gets past them, they get UNC to get to the Final Four. If I'm a Purdue fan, I'm saying, wow, are you kidding me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty good draw. But ACC is showing. Right? ACC all of a sudden is showing Duke, UNC, and Miami.
The goons from Miami. Dade County.
So what? Yeah, Dade County.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I
Miami
think
plays ruthless, just physical basketball. They're not the greatest talented team, but man, do they come at you hard and give you 40 minutes of hell. And
yeah,
this kid Wong has stepped up to be an actual reliable scorer, giving him 20 a game.
he looks legit. He
Yeah,
looks legit, right? He
get to
looks
the
real.
basket with ease.
Yeah, he looks real, man.
And they beat Duke at Duke this year, and when that happened, it kind of raised my eyebrows, and I kept my eye on them. And they're a fun team, and I like their coach. He has a lot of success in the tournament in the past with George Mason, and Miami themselves have made a couple runs. I like this Miami team, and I think they got an easy draw too. Not to say easy, because like I said, Big 12 flexing, and tip your cap to Iowa State, what they've been doing. But if you're Miami, you want to see Iowa State right now to go to the Elite Eight. That's a team that you would be okay with seeing.
Yeah, I mean,
So
what is that? It's 11. What is that? 11-10. I
right,
mean, what's the
11
matchup there?
10.
11-10
11-10.
matchup. It's 11 and 10. It's 11-10 matchup. I mean, geez, if you're Iowa State
Yeah,
and you get to
even
play
if
a
you're Iowa
10,
State, good point. Good point.
you're
Even if
playing
you're
a
Iowa
10.
State.
You're playing a 10 to get to the Elite Eight. You're happy.
Yeah.
You can't be any happier. Your team going up against
Kansas going
Listen.
up against
Providence.
Providence, a team that I've been on all year as a sleeper team, and it's not going to be an easy one, honestly.
No, because I go back and I say this a lot about your big man, McCormick. He is soft.
Yeah, he didn't score a point last
freaking
game.
soft. My God. And he's going up against a big man that's not.
Yeah.
Providence runs everything through Nate Watson.
Yeah.
And then the one thing about Providence, that transfer they got, Durham from Indiana, who was to me awful
Player.
at Indiana, a liability, has turned into
Player.
an MVP type candidate for that team. For that
Absolutely.
team, he's been an MVP for that team. He can't shoot. He shoots 20% from three. He shoots like 28% overall. He can't shoot, but he controls the game.
And Bynum and Reeves are no joke. Bynum and Reeves are both big-time players from the guard position, and they got the white boy, Horschler, who could just get hot and just start firing from all over. It's a tough team, and I love their coach.
He's an aggravating player because he's a hustle player. He dives at balls when it's around people's ankles, and he's that guy that pisses everybody off because he hustles so much.
And he's the guy who makes threes where you're like, as the opposing team fan or player, you're like, yes, and then it goes in, and you're like, no. He just makes tough shots. It's a tough group. But Kansas, to me, still hasn't played Kansas ball yet. They're deep. Remy Martins came to play in this tournament. I think McCormick's going to have a way better game coming up this week with 4 days to prepare. And I think Agbaji's going to finally show up. I thought he was going to show up last game. He didn't. He didn't need to.
He actually
he had 12. He only had 12 points, though.
They came literally over like a 6-minute period.
Key buckets, especially the steal and dunk late. But I'm talking about a full all-around game from Agbaji and Christian Brown. Your favorite, Christian Brown. And I think Kansas will be too much.
Mr. Houdini. Fucking Houdini.
What a bad time for that turnover.
Here, let me dribble up the ball. Let me drop four. Let me trip over
right
my
when
own
Mitch took a sip of his beer thinking he was good.
And not only did he fall down, he handed the ball as he was falling to the defender. He literally took the ball and handed it to the guy. Oh, man. Up 4 with the ball with 50 seconds to go, and then I had to sweat that stupid first half bet out.
Yeah, it was a lesson. At least you won the lesson, and then now you know never to do that. Never take big favorites on the money line in college. That's what you've learned. But how about the game that I don't understand, and I really think Vegas is up to something, is this Houston-Arizona game. That line jumped out at me when I saw it, and I couldn't believe it.
Why do you say that?
It's a 1-point spread. I don't understand why. Why is Houston only getting 1? And then you look at their odds to win the whole thing. They're right behind Arizona, ahead of Duke, ahead of Nova, ahead of UCLA, ahead of Texas Tech. I don't see
what I noticed about Houston, which I didn't realize?
Athletic team.
They shoot a lot of threes.
Ton of threes. They live and die by it.
They shoot a lot. Like, they're not they used to be we'll beat you up and play defense and try to score 60 points.
They're going to need to make a lot to beat Arizona, I'll tell you that.
They're playing a different brand of basketball, and I'm interested to see, because they do out-rebound everybody, even though the other team's taller than they are. They seem to out-rebound the other team. Now they're going up against 2 7-footers. They're going up against Ben Matherin.
Kerr can only be better than what he was last game.
Yeah, so I'm with you that the line doesn't make sense. It says that they're giving a lot of respect to Houston.
A lot of respect to Houston.
And it says that maybe there's been heavy betting on Houston, heavy action on Houston so far in the tournament, and they're thinking that it's going to continue. So they try to even that money out. Maybe they're trying to even that money out a little bit.
And listen, if they had Saucer still, or Sasser, or whatever, however you say it,
Sasser,
if they still had him, I would say, you know what? Houston could be very, very live here. Without him, and even the way they won against Illinois was not impressive. Illinois played awful, as bad as you could play. And they were still in that game till like 6 minutes left in that game. So I'm not going to give that dub any credit. I don't think Arizona falters here. I think they got too much size, and I just think they're better. A better all-around team.
So here we go. Pac-12 still looming.
Yeah.
Conference of Champions. I know that we kind of touched on UCLA playing UNC. I know we touched on the fact that Jaquez is, 50-50 in the game. If I'm UCLA before the tournament and they said you can play these particular teams and they put UNC in there and they put the other teams in there, my guess is they'd be pretty damn happy with playing UNC to get to the Elite Eight and not playing Baylor right now.
Yeah, they played Akron, they played St. Mary's, and now they got UNC. I mean, that's got to be the easiest road so far out of everyone left, no?
And let's not forget, this is a team that was in the Final Four last year, that Juzang was able to carry that team. So I'm not putting it past them not to be able to beat UNC tonight.
Right.
I'm not thinking that that's a definite done, that they can't beat them. I think that the loss of Jaquez could be major if he can't play, or even if he's hampered and he can't, and he's not. I think that's a huge loss. Because what I noticed out of UNC, and this hurts because I was a big Hubert Davis fan when he played for UNC. He's not ready to be a head coach. What I saw last week against Baylor, I was like, "What?"
He held on somehow. He didn't win that game. He held on somehow.
Do you remember the play that they had to go into? Like, they had the ball with 10 seconds left. That AJ, whatever, he dribbled outside at 30 feet and then just shot the ball for 12 seconds.
Almost a 40-foot three. Instead of actually drawing up a play that could get him a good shot, they settled for after 2 timeouts. They called 2 timeouts there for that play.
And I was like, okay, that on top of the fact that he never made one adjustment on that press. He kept the same guy inbounding the ball. He kept the same he kept the same offensive formation against the press all for the last 10 minutes of that game. He never made any adjustments against it. He's not ready for this. Yeah. What I will say is the guy at UCLA is ready for this. So if it is a close game late and they don't take advantage of UCLA being a wounded dog in this thing, I think UCLA will pull this game out. Because
I like the way Bernard stepped up too for UCLA, and obviously Tiger Campbell's another guy. When the lights are on, he somehow comes through and plays big ball.
He is. That's a guy that's heavily overlooked in this tournament, but another guy that controls the game and the pace of the game for his team. I think is he a 5th-year senior? I mean, I think he's a 4th or 5th-year senior, right?
He's definitely a senior.
So you're looking at a guy that's got so much confidence, especially after last year's run, and you can see it when he's playing out there. Listen, that's going to be a very intriguing game to me. That UNC-UCLA game is intriguing, but that's all she wrote after that, because Purdue is playing way too good for anybody to think they're going to beat Purdue on those 2 teams. Neither of those 2 teams are beating Purdue.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't disagree. I have Purdue in my Final Four. I love Purdue, and I love the matchup they have. Obviously, we talked about it, but even going forward, both matchups heading up, I have them in the Final Four pretty easily.
How do you like this other game tonight? Texas Tech and Duke. Is that the game of the night?
That's the game of the night for sure. By far, the game of the night. And I don't even know. The thing is, I think it's such an even match. I have no edge in them, and I think Coach K has the advantage if it's close late. Yeah. Maybe Texas Tech's a bad matchup for Duke. It really is. The way that they're physical and they got 2 closers down the stretch. Texas Tech might be the team that gets through here tonight. The Big 12 again when it comes down to it.
Ponchero, he's not going to do it. You're usually that Duke guy. You're usually that Duke freshman guy that believes in.
Cheryl's good, but I've seen him disappear in many games this year. I honestly, like, he's really good when he's playing well. I've seen him disappear in big games this year. Terrence Shannon Jr. and they got the transfer from Oral Roberts. Guys make shots. They're physical. I really like Texas Tech. I really do.
What do you think in the first game, Gonzaga, Arkansas, on that?
I think Arkansas has to jump out in front. They can't fall behind early. That the first 10 minutes of that match will tell a lot. I don't think Gonzaga is going home, honestly. It's all a matter if Arkansas could punch them in the mouth and stay in the game. That's it. So I don't see them winning.
Their starting five is the 4 senior guards and then that Williams sophomore guy. Do you think that Arkansas all of a sudden throws Conauer out there for a large portion of this game? The 7'5" guy that they have.
I mean, it would be
they've
smart.
got a 7'3".
It'd be smart to kind of throw him out there to see if you could switch it up a little bit and confuse Gonzaga a little bit. But I don't know.
Wouldn't that be something, seeing Chet go up against somebody that's bigger than him?
Yeah,
that guy Chet.
Toothpick. He's a toothpick, first of all. Yeah. Great talent. He needs to put some muscle on. But I just think Gonzaga is the kind of team that beats themselves or they win. And I think their 2 first games, they kind of, lollygag through. I think they're due for a game where they click, and it could be tonight. Hey, look at the line's 10, right? That looks good to take Arkansas plus 10. I wouldn't be shocked if it's a 20-point win.
Yeah, I go back. So typically when you think of senior guards, you think of good guy, the guys that can shoot, right? When you typically go back, you always think, oh, they got senior guards. You think, oh, they're going to score some points. They can shoot. Arkansas guys, they can't shoot. They literally can't shoot.
Which is trouble. If Gonzaga's making shots, it's trouble. That's why I think it stems on that first 10-minute run. I think Arkansas's got to look up at the second timeout and see that they're in that game. They cannot fall back early because they will never catch up with the way that Gonzaga scores the ball.
Man, it's so these games. So, all right. So what I want to know is your top 4 teams that are left. Who's your top 4 teams that you feel are left?
Kansas.
Yep.
Purdue.
Yep.
Gonzaga.
Yep.
Arizona. Those are my top 4. Villanova's 5th, Duke is 6th. So really, it's funny how I have Duke as a more talented team than Texas Tech, but I think the matchup and the heart of Texas Tech could have Duke go down tonight.
Wow. All right. So I wouldn't. I see 3 of the same things that you've. I've got Purdue as the best team left. I like the way Arizona's playing. I like the way Kansas is playing. I'm thinking Texas Tech might come out of that bracket. I'm starting to think Texas Tech comes out of that bracket. And here's what I will say. Of all the teams left, this sounds crazy. I think Arkansas is glad to be playing Gonzaga. I don't think they would have liked the physicality of Texas Tech. I don't think they would have liked playing Krzyzewski.
From a physical standpoint, absolutely. But I'm thinking it's a bad matchup because they're going to have to score. That I know it doesn't matter how
they are, but somehow they get a lot more. First of all, their forward Williams is pretty talented. The problem that gets to Arkansas is they get away from a smart game plan. They kind of fall apart for minutes at a time when they start missing shots. Like Udabi, or it starts with a U. One of their guards starts with a U. They have Note, they have Likes, they have Williams, and then they have Tony. So the U guy starts to get, to me, he's a turnover waiting to happen. If their coach puts in Vanover, I think that's his name, Vanover.
Yeah, Vanover. And Stanley Amude is the guy you're thinking of.
Amude. The game seems to get away from him sometimes. So, but Vanover, if he gets more playing time tonight and can give that Chet guy some problems, all of a sudden I think you flip the script, because I like the athleticism of the rest of the team of Arkansas against the rest of the
athleticism. I love Chris Likes and I love Note. So, as far as those 2 guards go, if Williams has a big day, like I said, I could see them competing. I don't see them winning. So I see this either being a close Gonzaga win or a blowout. I'd be shocked if Arkansas beats them, just because of the level of offense that they're going to have to show tonight.
I mean, there's such a big
I mean,
favorite in the game.
there's so many guys on Gonzaga that could beat you with a 9-0 run themselves. It's
Tilly?
going to be tough.
Tilly
Yeah,
is the
I
guy
mean,
that I think everybody's
Timmy,
worried.
Holmgren, they got Nemhart. Nemhart scores effortlessly, man. He really does. He stacks them up.
All right, so right now, what was your original bracket?
Final four,
Yeah,
I got Purdue versus Gonzaga, and I got Arizona versus Kansas. So they're still all four alive.
I wish I could change mine to Purdue winning it, but I had Kansas when beating Purdue. But I actually think Purdue is the team to beat now. And listen, at the end of the day, the coach from Jersey City, he's going to Seton Hall, right? I mean, he's the next head coach at Seton Hall, isn't he? There's no chance he's staying there
He's going to get huge money offers. Yeah, I couldn't imagine him staying
because the guy from Seton
Hall
Hall
would
left.
be big. Seton Hall would be a big uprise for him.
Yeah, I mean, he played for Seton Hall. The guy from Seton
Makes
Hall
perfect sense.
Left. I mean,
Seton Hall's a good program.
And here's what I like. I like the fact that Seton Hall's not saying anything right now. That's how I know they're going after this guy because nobody's saying anything. Nobody's saying anything about the Seton Hall job.
Make it a distraction. Yeah.
Yeah. So, listen, that guy's going to end up coaching Seton Hall next year. I'm so impressed with the way he does things. I love the way he talks to his players and keeps everybody calm. All right. So right now, the top 5 players, the funny thing is, I think the top 5 players in the tournament are all still left, right? You have Ivy.
Yeah.
You have Planche, I don't know how to say it. Bonchero? You have Matherin, Planchero, Agbaji, and Gillespie.
I would say those are the top 5 players left, too.
So I think
but you got to also include Timmy and Holmgren in there, too. Solid players.
Are they up for? Are they going to be player of the year material? I'm talking about player of the year material.
What's funny is if you look at the most outstanding tournament player odds, both Timmy and Holmgren are in the top 3 up there. So
Who's the other one?
Agbaji, and then Ivy's up there too.
Yeah. Agbaji, listen, those last 2 shots what he hit, the step back 3 was ridiculous. When he hit the step back 3, I'm like, oh.
There's about 4 games this year where I saw him make a shot late in the game that sealed the W for us. Something like Ivy too had a couple this year where some I had wagers on too, so that's why I was locked in. Literally made a 3 at the end of a game that you needed to have, and Gillespie too. These guys are just nails when it comes down to it with the game on the line. Gotta love it.
Here's what I love watching about Purdue. If Zach Edey is trying to shoot off of his heels, he's getting swatted. He's 7'7", and his shot will get blocked. But when he shoots off his toes, they can't block it.
Yeah.
When he shoots off his heels, when he shoots off his heels, everybody's blocking.
And Williams is just freakishly athletic around the moves he has around the paint.
Would you agree there's 3 NBA guys on that team?
I think you could say there's 4.
Who's the 4th?
I think Matt Stefanovic is a shooter in the NBA. I really do. Catch and shoot.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro, look at he's a career 42% shooter from 3. You can't find those anywhere.
He's a really good shooter. He's just struggling
right now. I don't know if he's physically ready for the NBA, but his shooting ability should get him at least close.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, you're going to put Edey and Williams and Ivy in there for sure. Absolutely.
And you're not feeling too comfortable right now at Kansas.
It's not that I'm not feeling comfortable. It's I haven't seen them play perfect ball yet. And not perfect ball, but where every single person does what they're supposed to do. Like the other day, McCormick, what was that, bro?
Well, first of all, what is not even that? What's the headband doing out there? What's the dude with the headband that doesn't look at the basket?
Harris?
The thing is, the crap out of
you're right. Harris didn't have a good game, and thank God Remy Martin had one of his better games because we needed him at that moment. So that was big. But Harris isn't terrible, but he's hesitant. Like there's a couple shots early in that game where he was wide open and he just took a step and he didn't shoot it, and the whole possession got messed up. But Remy Martin
stopped guarding him. They stopped being within 3 or 4 feet of him, and that crushed the lane.
An underrated guy that we bring in is Mitch Lightfoot too. Mitch Lightfoot is nimble. He's a smart player, and he's very crafty around the rim. I love when they bring in Mitch Lightfoot for change of pace because McCormick doesn't have any skill. He's just all force, big. He blocks shots. He rebounds, he dunks. Yeah, force. But he doesn't have that offensive. He's soft in the point that he doesn't score for how big and physical he is. That's what makes him soft. It's not that he can't. It's that he didn't. And that
So
right there is why he's soft. There's no reason why he didn't have 10 points last game. None. Just feed him the ball and watch how he fucking out physicals people. It's insane.
No,
Yeah.
you're crazy.
Watch.
You're crazy.
Keep watching. And he didn't have that game last game. That's the fresh game in your mind is he didn't have that game last
You're telling
game.
me you
I watched
think
him all
he
year.
Physicals people.
Out physicals people. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Let me tell you something. You're suspect. Yeah, you. I don't know what your reputation is in this town. But after the shit you tried to pull today, you can bet I'll be looking into you.
There's a difference. To be able to do something and not do it, that's what makes you soft.
Oh man, I don't know, man. Listen, what makes him soft is he gets pushed around by smaller guys. He gets blocked. His shit gets blocked by guys that are smaller than him. He can't dunk when
Hey, listen, he's gonna have his hands
soft.
full. He'll show you against Providence if he's soft or not, because he's gonna have his hands.
Yeah, he's
full.
got Nate Watson's a real center. Nate Watson is a real center out there.
Yeah.
So he is. Yeah, that's the big. And I will say this: I still think. I think Cooley is the coach of the year. I think he gets the coach of the year nod.
He gets the most out of his team every year.
Yeah, so I think he gets coach of the year this year. That's another. So I was watching the game in Providence, and I thought last week. So there was some guys, definitely guys that were anti. So there was one guy I was talking to who was 100% anti Pac-12, and I says, "You wait, there's a Pac-12 team that will be in the in the Final Four." And he says, "No, they're all losing today, and this and that." And he was a Duke guy, and I'm like, "Well, Duke's probably going to win. I mean, Duke's got a good team, but I still believe." That the Pac-12, first of all, the Pac-12 got hosed. Let's not kid ourselves. Now all of a sudden, Washington State's hooping up in that extra tournament. That's what it is.
Final Four of the NIT, yeah.
And then you have, I think Colorado and Oregon should have at least, now that we're seeing what we're seeing. Listen, the number one thing that we should learn right now is everybody should think about the Big Ten had 9. Now there's only 2, and another thing that I saw this weekend, and I wish Meatball was here, Rickshaw, because Michigan was being officiated like they were playing defense in the 80s. So they were allowed to play defense like it was the 80s. Yet when they were on offense, it seemed like the game was officiated in 2022. I felt like there was a big discrepancy in the amount of contact on the opposite ends of the court.
Okay. I can see what you said. I saw a lot of people complaining about that actually at the sports book. A lot of people were complaining about the officials in the Michigan game.
I thought and it didn't, just not that game, but I thought both games. The first game, I'm like, what are we watching? But the second game against Tennessee, I thought the same thing. I'm like, well, what is this? Why is Dickinson allowed
Rick
just
Barnes,
to
man, what is it with him? No matter how good a team he is, no matter how good a job he does, he can't get past the Sweet 16. It's unbelievable.
Does that mean he coaches great and he gets the most out of his players, or does that mean they fall apart? What does that mean?
I think it means
does that mean
both, and that's kind of the story. He coaches everyone up, he gets them up to everyone starts to believing in him, and he can't get past the Sweet 16. He's never got past the Sweet 16. It's crazy.
I still think so I think, listen, Dickinson stepping out and hitting threes has completely changed the makeup of that team, because outside of that, I don't know who this Houston kid is, but him being able to hit 2 or 3 threes in a game changes everything, because he is a beast down low. When he gets around that hoop, he's scoring or he's getting to the line, and now hitting a couple threes is really opening up that lane for him. When Barnes, he had that point guard, but they what did they shoot? What were they? Did they make?
Yeah,
4?
the point. No. They didn't shoot well at all in that game. That's the point. They were shooting lights out SEC tournament and the first round, and they didn't make any shots down the stretch against Michigan.
So Arkansas, Kentucky, and Tennessee, each of their last games, if you took the 3 teams combined,
And how about Kentucky?
shooting,
Yeah, you said Kentucky, right?
9 for 49. Kentucky, Tennessee, and Arkansas, 9 for 49 in 3-pointers. How is that possible?
That's brutal.
Listen,
You can't win. You can't
Kentucky,
win in a tournament style with shooting the ball like that.
Kentucky had Kellen Grady.
I know.
How is Kellen Grady not knocking stuff down?
There's no explanation for why Kentucky lost that game. That's one of the. And listen, like I said before, it might not be on paper the biggest upset ever, but as far as the angles of who played who and who's at each school, one of the craziest outcomes I've ever seen. Honestly, say that the fact that St. Peter's could beat Kentucky,
Jersey City,
Jersey City. Right outside my window, I could throw a rock at Jersey City right now.
Hoboken, bro. Jersey City, man. I'll tell you what, man. Listen, that guy's on his way. He's earned himself a big time coaching job. He's heading over to Seton Hall. Right now, we got 2 or 3 hours till tip off. I'm out here I'm out in the Midwest right now. I'm out here in Nebraska. It started snowing today, and they have not implemented the sports books here. They're still sitting around in their hands. The residents voted it in, yet. So
you can't wager on anything out there.
Well, you got to use different measures. There's other measures.
Yeah,
you got to use. Yeah, there's always there's a will, there's a way, right?
My question to you is, what's the bet tonight as far as from the Vegas spreads?
So the funny thing is, I didn't look at the number because it's going to be a massive number. What is the Purdue number? Is it 15.5, 16.5? What's the number?
Purdue plays tomorrow.
They don't play tonight.
No, Purdue plays tomorrow, and they're playing, and their number is...
Purdue plays tonight, don't they?
No, they play the Philly. They play against St. Peter's tomorrow. I actually had tickets to go, but I have to work. The number is Purdue. Oh, I can't even see it because they're playing St. Peter's. We can't bet on Jersey teams.
12 and
so I
a
can't
half.
even see it. 12 and a half?
12 and a half. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3. Where? Arkansas, Michigan, Texas Tech.
So it's UCLA and North Carolina.
Okay. So I missed that. I thought Purdue was tonight.
I gotta love Villanova tonight. Got to.
Yeah.
Love Villanova tonight.
I'm
not touching the Duke game. Too much of a toss-up for me. Houston-Arizona line makes no sense. I'm going to sit back and watch. Arkansas-Gonzaga, I want no part of a 10-point spread. I love Villanova to win by more than 2 baskets against Michigan tonight. That's my play.
Arizona all day. U of A all day -1.5. U of A all day -1.5.
And if gun was to my head, I'm taking U of A. So I totally agree with you. But that line is it's like a little
because of Kerr. It's because of Chris Kerr.
Come and get it. And get it.
Yeah, it's because of Chris Kerr. But listen, the play is, and the funny thing is, if you look at Sport Hitters brackets, it's 9. So 9 points, and you're getting incredible value if you take them and they win. Wow. I love that. I mean, listen, that allows you to play 2 other easy favorites. That allows you to play Gonzaga if you want. You take a 9 and you hit it. It allows you to take Gonzaga. Villanova at 7.27, another great value. And
all over that.
Yeah, Villanova is awesome.
Justin Moore and Samuels is going to chip in here with Gillespie. I love them tonight.
Gillespie's starting to look like he's healthy again. That was the big thing about Gillespie was his health.
True. He gets the lift off his shots. They're all pure. All his shots. He's not short on any of them anymore.
No, he's there. He's gonna help that team tonight. I
can't stand looking at Juwan Howard either. I don't know what it is. Just can't stand him.
So let's jump into this. We haven't really talked about this. Here's my thing. What are your thoughts on the I don't even know what you call it. It was an attempted punch that looked awful, and they tried to say it wasn't a punch.
It was a bitch slap. That's what it was.
Yeah. What? So here's
my thing. It wasn't even the coach he went after. It was, what was it, an assistant?
Assistant coach. But what was Juwan Howard mad about? Juwan Howard's team was in a press. If you're in a press, why can't the other team try? Why are you allowed to try and the other team's not allowed to try? Because that's really what he's crying about.
Juwan Howard was very salty before that even altercation happened. You could tell he was already pissed off. He didn't even want to touch hands. He wanted to go right past the coach. And then somehow something must have been said.
It was because he called a timeout. So Juwan Howard was mad that they called a timeout. So with 10 seconds to go, they were down by like 15, but his team pressed. Wisconsin wasn't going to make it across half court. So he called timeout so he could set up a play to get across half court. Jordan Howard was mad he called timeout, but I'm like, wait a second. If you don't want him to call timeout, he wouldn't have called timeout if your team would have been back playing defense because he would have ran the clock out.
So true. And who are you to get mad at something that's in the line of the rules?
Not only
call timeout.
again, don't press.
You're gonna get mad? Yeah, exactly. You're going to get mad.
Don't fucking press. If
Salty.
you don't have the right to say, I am going to try, you can't try or I'm going to get mad. You don't have that right. You're a grown man.
You look silly, and for that alone, I can't
silly.
bang with Michigan. I can't. I'm unloading on Villanova.
Ridiculous. And they should have done something more. Michigan should have said, you know what, you're an embarrassment. Because don't forget, it wasn't the first time. He had an altercation mid-season this year with another coach. So this was his second altercation this year with coaches. It just seems like he thinks he's a bully or something because he came.
They would have been knocked out in the first round if Colorado State stopped chucking threes up 10.
Yep.
And then obviously the Rick Barnes curse. He can't get past the Sweet 16. I don't see Michigan being able to stick with Villanova tonight.
No, I can't see any. I can't see any. I can't see any possibility that Jay Wright gets out coached by Juwan Howard.
And 3 freshmen in the lineup that are scoring liabilities. Yeah. Let's not forget Michigan. A lot of games this year struggled to get past 50. Let's not forget.
Are they? Do they have their point guard back? Their point guard got hurt last week and had a concussion and didn't play.
You talking about Brooks or?
Check out their point guard. Their third point guard didn't play last week. They had a freshman in there running their team and the other guy didn't even make the trip.
Eli Brooks played.
Yeah, he had a good game.
So you're talking about Nunez or Howard?
Wouldn't be Howard. That's Howard's kid. It might be Nunez. One of them didn't play. One of their starting point guard didn't play. So if he can come back and play this week,
Nunez didn't play.
Okay, so is he? I wonder if he's back this week.
The team is soft. Let's be real. Hunter Dickinson's all they got. Every other person on that team is soft. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it comes down from their coach. I think that's a direct. I mean, listen,
Brandon Johns. Come on, bro. I can't. That guy was a bum at Marquette.
Theo John went to Marquette. He's over on Duke now.
Oh yeah, you're
Brandon
right.
Johns.
Yeah, but Brandon Johns came over from somewhere.
Oh, he did.
Hold on.
I don't know where they got that. I don't know where they got him from, man.
Face.
I don't know where they got him from. All right, so we both Johns, man. All right. Who do you got? All right, so I got Purdue cutting down the nets. Who do you got cutting down the nets at the end?
Man, this question's tough because I have Arizona in all my brackets, and I still believe they are a team that could do it. But my team is still sitting here with a nice road, and I just don't believe they played Kansas ball yet, which is dangerous. I'm going to go with Kansas. I think this is the year that Self gets another title.
Hey, listen, they've got the player of the year.
I just I realized how deep they were last game when we were sitting there watching that game.
Listen, Remy's a difference maker. Remy Martin is a difference maker for that team.
Yeah.
Remy Martin, listen, and he played like he did as a freshman at ASU. He knocked down some threes. He had control of the game. He made some good defensive plays.
And, bro, I didn't really even realize that the transfer of Fufu or whatever his name is that we got from he came over from, I think it was Cleveland State or somewhere. He came over from last year. We're in the tournament. That guy was averaging 20-something a game last year as the main guy. He's our 7th, 8th option. Coleman Lands, a guy who shoots the ball at a 40% clip from deep. Remy Martin. You got my man.
Just don't let Braun bring the ball off the court. Tell Braun to go sit in the corner. Just go
I don't
sit
know why
in the corner.
his name is spelled like that. That bothers me. His name's Brown. It's spelled like Braun.
Makes sense. Listen, he can't dribble either. He can't dribble and run at the same time. The guy can't dribble and run at the same time. He's playing Division I basketball. Tripped over the half-court line. Do you see that? He tripped right over the half-court line, jumped up and tripped him. Jumped up and tripped the guy. Half-court line took care of him, man. My goodness. Yeah, so listen, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We got Purdue tomorrow, I guess. I thought it was tonight. I was looking forward to tonight. Yeah, man, listen, you probably...
these are going to be good games now. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty.
Well, not Jersey City. Jersey City's getting run off the court, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But for the most part, these games, I mean, I think the best teams in the country are all still remaining, honestly. Like all year when we sat there and talked about the best teams in the country, they're all still there.
There's only one that's not as Baylor. I mean, I think a lot of people had Baylor as...
But think about it. To repeat, I don't. Any
The
team
Kings
who won
are-
the chip the year before, I'm just not gonna put them in a team that could repeat. And Baylor, as good as they are, and the fight they had to come back down 25, they weren't going to win it this year just off that alone. So I agree with you. They were one of the best teams all year. Kentucky too, for in an instant. Tennessee too, but those aren't. I'm talking Gonzaga, Arizona, Duke, Purdue, Kansas. Those are
Yeah.
the teams that are still
Yeah.
still standing.
Yeah, and I think Kansas and Purdue are the two deepest teams. They've got
Definitely.
the most talent. Two deepest teams. So, I expect. Listen, I expect us all to be talking. Something crazy is going to happen tonight. We don't know what it is. Something crazy is going to happen tonight. Something crazy is going to happen tomorrow night in the Sweet 16, and then we got an awesome weekend. So let's just go enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I say, hold on. Let's do this right. Let's just get this right.
Get your money and run.
All right. What do you got? Your pick of the day.
Villanova. I said it before. I'm sticking with it
Minus
confidently.
the 5.
Minus the 5. I think it's either a blowout from the jump, or even if it's close down the stretch, I think Nova hits threes, gets to the line. They're the best free throw shooting team in the nation. You don't want
Yeah.
them on the line. Michigan can't score 50 most of the times. I don't think this is a good matchup for them. Nova easily.
I got U of A. So I got U of A minus the 1.5.
Parlay
so,
those, you get a nice little 3 to 4 to 1 to your money.
Yeah, 100%.
Can't
And
complain.
I think I like those. I like those plays. I'm just gonna go watch it, enjoy it, have a couple drinks, have a couple beers, enjoy the games, and get ready for Purdue tomorrow. I think Purdue at 12.5 is a must play tomorrow because I honestly think that's a 30-point game.
Yeah,
I don't think
mismatches all over the court, and
I
this isn't just Cinderella catching teams off. So when you have that week to prepare, and you now get into the more pressure games, team like St. Peter's going to be very, very outmatched here.
Yeah, there's guys at 7'5" on the court. I mean, come on. I don't know how you stop them. So, all right, guys, go enjoy March Madness. We'll be back sometime next week, recap everything, and get ready
absolutely.
for baseball. We'll have to talk some basketball, some of the craziness that's going on in the NFL because it came back up today. But we'll cover all that next week. We'll be back. Take care, everyone.
Later.